Today, I am reviewing the Lenovo LOQ 15.6-inch laptop. If at any time you'd like to explore this product for yourself and grab it at a great price, be sure to check the links below the video. If you are looking for a gaming laptop that hits that elusive sweet spot between affordability and actual, playable performance, you have probably stumbled across the Lenovo LOQ 15.6-inch model. I have been putting this specific machine through its paces for the last couple of weeks, and I think it is time to have a very honest conversation about what you are actually getting for your money here. You can check the links below the video to explore this specific model, or find its current pricing if you want to follow along with the specs as we go. Let's start with the build quality, because this is usually where entry-level gaming laptops fall apart, quite literally. Lenovo has designed the LOQ series to be the budget-friendly sibling to the Legion line, and you can feel the difference in the materials. It is mostly plastic, but it is not that flimsy, creaky plastic that feels like it might snap if you open the lid too aggressively. It has a decent amount of heft to it, which I actually appreciate because it keeps the device planted on the desk when you are in the middle of a frantic gaming session. The Luna Gray color scheme is understated and professional enough that you could bring this into an office meeting without it screaming that you are a gamer, which is a big win for those of you who need a dual-purpose machine. The keyboard is one of the standout features here. Lenovo consistently makes some of the best laptop keyboards on the market, and the LOQ carries that legacy forward. The key travel is satisfying, and the tactile feedback is snappy enough that I found myself typing quite quickly without many errors. It is not a mechanical keyboard, obviously, but for a membrane laptop keyboard, it is miles ahead of what you get from many competitors in this price bracket. You do get a full-size number pad, which is a nice touch for productivity, though it does mean the main keys are slightly shifted to the left, which might take a day or two to get used to if you're coming from a tankulus layout. Now, let's talk about the display. This is a 144Hz panel, which is the baseline requirement for gaming in 2024. The motion clarity is smooth, and playing fast-paced shooters like Call of Duty or Apex Legends feels responsive. However, you need to be realistic about the color accuracy and brightness here. It is a standard FHD panel, and while it gets the job done for gaming, it is not going to blow your mind if you are doing professional color-critical video editing or photo work. The colors can look a little bit muted compared to higher-end OLED or premium IPS displays, and if you're sitting in a room with a lot of natural sunlight, you might find yourself wishing it could get just a little bit brighter. If you are strictly using this for gaming and general school or work tasks, it is perfectly adequate, but it is definitely one of the areas where Lenovo cut costs to keep the price down. Under the hood, we have the AMD Ryzen 7 7735HS processor paired with the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4050. This is an interesting combination. The 7735HS is a capable chip that handles multitasking, web browsing, and productivity applications with ease. I had 30 tabs open in Chrome, a few background apps running, and a game minimized, and I did not notice any significant stuttering or slowdowns. When it comes to gaming, the RTX 4050 is a solid entry-level card. You are not going to be maxing out every single setting in Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K resolution, obviously, but for 1080p gaming, it is very capable. Most modern titles will run comfortably at medium to high settings, and if you utilize DLSS, you can get very respectable frame rates in almost anything you throw at it. One thing to keep in mind is the 512GB SSD. In this day and age, that fills up incredibly fast. Modern games are massive, and after you install your operating system and a few core productivity apps, you are left with maybe 350 or 400 gigabytes of usable space. You will likely want to upgrade this sooner rather than later. Luckily, the chassis is relatively easy to open if you're comfortable with basic hardware maintenance, so adding an extra M.2 drive is a great project for the future. You can check the links below to see what kind of SSDs are currently recommended for this machine if you decide to go down that route. I spent a fair amount of time playing around with the Lenovo Vantage software. I know a lot of people like to bloatware shame laptops, but I actually found Vantage quite useful for this specific device. It allows you to toggle between different performance modes, which is a huge deal on a laptop. If you are just browsing the web, you can put it in a quiet or balanced mode to keep the fans from spinning up, and the battery life will see a modest improvement. When it is time to game, you can kick it into performance mode to unlock the full power of the GPU and CPU. You can also monitor your thermals, which is something I highly recommend you do, as gaming laptops tend to run hot. The thermal management on the LOQ is decent for its size, but it does get warm. The exhaust vents are positioned in a way that keeps the hot air away from your hands, which is a smart design choice, but the surface of the laptop around the keyboard can get a bit toasty after an hour or two of heavy gaming. It is not uncomfortable, but you will definitely notice it. The fans also get quite loud when you are pushing the system, so if you are someone who games without a headset, you're going to hear that fan noise. It is just the reality of cooling a dedicated GPU in a thin chassis, so if you are sensitive to fan noise, you might want to invest in a decent pair of noise-canceling headphones. Battery life is another area where you need to manage your expectations. If you are expecting all-day battery life while gaming, you're going to be disappointed. No gaming laptop really offers that. If you are just doing light office work or watching videos, you can squeeze out about 4 to 5 hours, but that is about it. This is a machine that is meant to be tethered to a wall outlet most of the time, especially if you want to get the most out of the GPU. Regarding the software perks, this model comes with 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. I think this is a fantastic inclusion for someone buying their first gaming laptop. It gives you instant access to a massive library of games without having to drop another $60 or $70 on a single title right after buying the hardware. It is a great way to test the limits of your new machine immediately. Forza Horizon 5, for example, runs beautifully on this hardware, and it is a great game to show off the 144Hz screen. Who is this laptop for? I think it is the perfect machine for a student who needs a reliable laptop for schoolwork during the day but wants to hop into some competitive gaming with friends in the evenings. It is also a great choice for someone who is on a tighter budget but doesn't want to settle for a machine that can't actually play modern games. It is a workhorse, not a luxury item. If you are looking for the absolute best screen, the thinnest build, or the most premium metal construction, this is not the laptop for you. You would be looking at the Legion Pro series or something from the Razer Blade line, but you would also be paying significantly more money. If you are a hardcore professional video editor, this might leave you wanting more due to the color accuracy of the screen, and if you are a competitive esports pro who needs the absolute lowest latency and highest refresh rate, you might find the 144Hz panel a bit limiting. But for the vast majority of gamers, this is a very balanced machine. It does not try to be everything to everyone. It just tries to provide a solid, functional gaming experience at a price that doesn't require a second mortgage. Another point of frustration for some might be the webcam and audio. The webcam is fine for Zoom calls and Discord meetings, but it is not going to look great in low light. The audio, coming from the integrated speakers, is functional but lacks bass. It sounds a bit tinny, which is standard for almost every laptop in the segment. You are definitely going to want to use external speakers or headphones for a better experience, especially since the fan noise can sometimes drown out the audio at lower volumes. I want to touch on the build longevity again. I have seen some people worry about the hinge design on these budget-tier laptops. While I haven't had any issues, I would always suggest opening the laptop from the center of the lid rather than the corners to distribute the pressure evenly. It is a good habit to get into with any laptop, but especially with the plastic construction here. If you take care of it, there is no reason this machine shouldn't last you through a few years of heavy use. The port selection is actually quite generous. You have a good mix of USB-A and USB-C ports, an HDMI port for connecting to an external monitor, and an Ethernet port, which I personally love. If you are doing any serious gaming, you should always be plugged into Ethernet if you can, and it is nice that Lenovo didn't force you to use a dongle for that. It shows they understand what gamers actually need. Overall, the Lenovo LOQ 15.6 is a sensible, practical purchase. It is not flashy, it is not the fastest thing on the planet, and it has a few compromises that you have to live with, but it delivers where it counts. The combination of the Ryzen 7 and the RTX 4050 is the real star of the show here, providing a platform that can handle modern gaming without too much fuss. If you are looking for value, this is one of the better options on the market right now. Remember to check the links below the video to see the current pricing and to explore the different configurations available, as sometimes you can find a great deal that makes this even more compelling. I hope this helped clear up some of the questions you might have had about this model. It is easy to get lost in spec sheets and marketing jargon, but at the end of the day, it comes down to how the machine feels to use and whether it can actually play the games you want to play. This LOQ model does that, and it does it without demanding a premium price tag. If you have any specific questions about my experience with it, feel free to leave a comment, and I will do my best to answer based on my time testing it. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you make a more informed decision for your next gaming setup.